Dr. Marcia here of Move with Marcia, and now let's sit down for another Ask a Physical Therapist session. A question I get asked a lot: is stretching bad? So it's hard out here, right? The internet is full of physical therapists, yoga teachers, athletic trainers, chiropractors, personal trainers, and everybody in between telling you what you should and should not do with your body, right? So here's the number one thing before we even get to the question. If anybody is telling you a blanket statement of what's good and bad, don't listen to them, move on. If anybody's telling you this is the cure for so-and-so, don't listen to them, move on. Like I'm gonna tell you on this channel, and as we move through things, is I hope this works for you. These are some things you can try. That's the first thing. So I don't trust anybody trying to be controversial and cute, right? It doesn't help people. On to the question, is stretching bad? Well, what is stretching? Stretching is when you make an attempt to lengthen your muscle or increase your flexibility, right? But if you understand the difference between flexibility, stability, and mobility, then you would understand that there's levels to this. So stretches can be static, they can be dynamic. Stretches can be totally passive, they can be active. So is stretching bad? That as a question by itself, the answer would be no. Are there times where you should do maybe certain stretches or avoid this or try this or do that? Sure, maybe. You're not going to do a static 5-minute stretch of your hamstrings before you do squats, right? But at the same time, you're going to understand that if you warmed up by doing lunge walks or, twists and whatever, if you are a stiff person, that warm-up is a dynamic stretch. Also important to realize, if you say, I'm going to cool down and work on my mobility after I finish my arm day, however, I don't really want to do static, passive things. I want to be active. I want to be working everything. I don't want to just do flexibility. That by itself doesn't matter. You can work that into everything. Come on, guys. You can work that all in. So let's say, for example, you're doing something where you want to work on chest expansion. You want to stretch out your pecs, but you don't want to just sit there and hold your arm against the wall, right? Maybe you clasp your hands behind your back, you do a locust position, you actively squeeze your shoulder blades, but what's going to be happening to the front of your chest? You're going to stretch your pecs. So that's an example of an active stretch. So it's important to keep these factors in mind. There's no such thing as is stretching bad? Yes. No. Stretching is not bad. You just have to understand what your body needs and how it works into what you need to do with your body. So another example I could give you would be if you take different types of yoga classes. If you took a restorative class, those are all passive stretches. So when I say passive, that means you are using no muscle activation whatsoever. So in that kind of a class, you will have bolsters, cushions, blankets, rolls, blocks, and all of those sort of things supporting you. You might let gravity kind of do its work, but you're not working against it. You're not focused on anything. You're just truly relaxed. That is passive. So I can give you an easy example of that. Let's say you're doing a butterfly stretch. So at the top of your head, you might just think that's just a static stretch. That means nothing, right? But here, think about it. So if we're sitting in the butterfly, we have our legs open. Let's say we want to make it passive. We might stick a block under each of the knees. We'll lean against the wall. We don't have to hold our body up. We don't have to worry about where the legs go, right? If we want to make that an active stretch, and by active, I mean you're working to stabilize yourself. So guess what? You're working stability. You would remove the blocks. You're not leaning against the wall. You're holding yourself up. So you'd have to, number one, focus on keeping your shoulder blades squeezed and down. Number two, focus on bracing, keeping your pelvis neutral. Number three, you're going to use the actual muscles of your hips to try to open up the knees and push them down to the ground. You're not going to push with your hands. So that's an active stretch. You're still working there. Whether that's easy for you or hard for you, that depends on, again, you and your body. What does your body need and what do you need it to do, right? So for me, a butterfly stretch actively, that's tough. I don't have it. But for somebody that does splits and flips and calisthenics all the time, that might be easy for them. So again, short answer, is stretching bad? No, there's levels to this. Understand what your body needs and what you need your body to do to move better, because stretches can be active or passive, static or dynamic, and all stretches are good if you use them in the right context. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you and makes sense. Questions, comments, concerns, it's right here. Comment. Please hit the thumbs up. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm talking into a void and nobody cares or listens. So let me know you're into this kind of stuff. Or comment any other questions you'd like to see answered. That's it for now. I'm out. Feel free to subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I upload new videos every Saturday morning. Peace.